Africa's digital renaissance has begun and is changing the continent for the better. An era of sustained and sustainable growth is upon us, with ICT at the center of Africa's socio-economic development. And Smart Africa is championing the cause. The Smart Africa Manifesto was adopted in October 2013 by 7 heads of state, namely Rwanda, Kenya, Uganda, South Sudan, Mali, Gabon, and Burkina Faso. In the manifesto, the heads of state committed to provide leadership in accelerating Africa's socio-economic development through ICT. And with that, Smart Africa was born. Smart Africa is a bold and innovative commitment from African heads of state and government to accelerate sustainable socio-economic development on the continent, ushering Africa into a knowledge economy and affordable access to broadband and usage of information and communication technologies. The Alliance is a framework for implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of the Smart Africa Manifesto designed to make it actionable. The principles of the manifesto are to put ICT at the center of the national socio-economic development agenda, to promote accountability, efficiency, and openness through ICT, to leverage ICT to promote sustainable development, to improve access to ICT, especially broadband, and to put the private sector first. From the initial 7 countries, the Smart Africa Alliance has seen grown to include over half of the continent, and with countries that represent over 750 million people. These countries are working diligently together to digitize the continent. In addition to the member countries, the Alliance also brings together regulators, public institutions, and the private sector. Over 30 private sector members and international partners work with governments in achieving our mission of transforming Africa into a single digital market. Smart Africa is led by a board chaired by His Excellency President Paul Kagame, and where all heads of state of member countries and leaders of platinum-level private sector members sit. The board provides policy and strategic leadership. The leadership is supported by a steering committee co-chaired by the ITU and the African Union, and which comprises ministers of ICT from member states, institutional members, and gold and platinum members of the Alliance. Technical organs of the Alliance include the Council of African Regulators, which comprises the regulatory heads from all 55 African countries, and the Council of Ministers, where ministers make policy-level decisions. The organs are managed through the Smart Africa Secretariat, headquartered in Kigali, Rwanda, and led by Director General Lassina Kone. The 5 strong pillars of the Smart Africa Manifesto are policy, access, e-government, private sector or entrepreneurship, and sustainable development. These are supported by the 4 solid enablers: innovation, communication and advocacy, capacity building, and resource mobilization. Together, the pillars and enablers allow the Smart Africa Alliance to put in place the right environment to encourage partnerships, entrepreneurship, job creation, and knowledge sharing. The Smart Africa Alliance member states each champion a flagship project which ensures that every segment of the digital agenda is catered for. It ensures that member states share information and best practices to avoid reinventing the wheel. Angola champions high-tech parks. Benin champions innovation and knowledge cities. Burkina Faso champions capacity building and the Smart Africa Scholarship Fund. The creative economy is championed by Chad. Cybersecurity by Cote d'Ivoire, data centers by Djibouti, innovation and entrepreneurship by Egypt, ICT industry development by Gabon, smart e-payment is led by Ghana, intra-Africa cross-border connectivity is led by Guinea, the digital economy by Kenya, Mali champions entrepreneurship, youth innovation and job creation. Niger is responsible for smart villages. Rwanda leads on smart cities and communities. South Sudan on digital literacy. Senegal leads on broadband and the green economy. Togo is responsible for smart energy and the blue economy. Uganda leads on big data and data measurement for development. Tunisia leads on startup and innovation ecosystems, and Zimbabwe leads on e-agriculture. Collectively, and with Smart Africa leading the effort, we have critical projects in the pipeline such as the One African Network for affordable voice and data roaming rates and cross-border mobile payments to foster greater integration and free movement of people to boost trade. Education for all through ICT, equipping and connecting primary and secondary schools and universities with digital libraries and electronic devices. Broadband connectivity along key infrastructure connecting hospitals, ports, airports, and other public areas. Smart cities, ensuring that African smart cities are geared to address the challenges brought about by exponential urban growth through next-generation technologies. The Smart Africa Scholarship Fund, promoting meritocracy and gender equality by bridging the skills and talent gap among member states. The Transform Africa Summit is our flagship project and is the annual leading African forum bringing together global and regional leaders from government, business, and international organizations to collaborate on new ways of shaping, accelerating, and sustaining ongoing African digital revolution. The Transform Africa Summit is the Smart Africa's flagship event, geared towards connecting, innovating, and transforming the continent into a knowledge economy, and thereby driving global competitiveness and job creation. The summit aims to enable member states to become more competitive, agile, open, and innovative smart economies with the most favorable business climates that attract large-scale investments, reward entrepreneurship, and enable fast growth and exports, leveraging ICT innovations to transform African nations into smart societies. So, where are we going? The vision of Smart Africa is to transform Africa into a single digital market. That means unifying the entire continent into one market of 1.2 billion people through continental free trade, digitizing our skills, opening our skies, and ensuring intra-Africa connectivity. We invite African governments and the very robust private sector and international organizations to join us in this noble venture. Only then, by working together, can Africa